So sometimes news is both unexpected and not surprising at the same time. And that goes for MiLaysia Fulwiley transferring out of South Carolina. Because if you followed the Gamecocks this year, that was a subplot all season. The relationship and the dynamic between Dawn Staley and Fulwiley, where Staley seemed to want to see Fulwiley play more within the team concept and try to rein her in at times. And for Wiley has a dynamic, exciting play style that felt like sometimes it wasn't given the room to flourish. And those two different dynamics or perspectives on her game clash. Now, because of the success of South Carolina, one would think and one thought, okay, she's going to stay, work it out, and learn under Coach Staley. But then when Taniyah Latson transfers over to Florida State and Raven Johnson decides to return, that might have meant more time off the bench for Wiley. So you understand where she might want to go somewhere else, where she's going to have an opportunity not only to play more, but perhaps also play the way that she wants to with that sort of flash that Dawn Staley didn't seem to always believe was harnessed correctly. And that was the big story. Let me give the credit where it's due, because too often when news like this breaks, it comes out and then the person who actually broke it doesn't get the credit for breaking it. But it was Lulu Kesson. I'm not sure how to say her last name, but she with the Greenville News. Definitely saw it from her account first. She was all over it. And now the question is, where does it go from here? Where does Fulwiley wind up? Because that's a fascinating other element. Who's the coach that is right for her? Because to be real with you, she was the most exciting thing about watching South Carolina play. And she was the player that people were most interested in. I've seen the returns. People were most interested in Fulwiley and the dynamics I just mentioned between Fulwiley and Staley. But at South Carolina, Dawn Staley's the star. People like to talk about, and I heard complaints about other players not getting promoted and whatnot, but Staley's the star of that program. She's the face of that program. She's the one that gets the bulk of the attention and all that. And I'm not saying she does it at the detriment of her players, but that is the way it is. And Fulwiley was the only player on that team who felt like she had the breakthrough ability to, capture people's imagination outside of the coach being the face. Now, Taniyah Latson comes in, who led the nation in scoring, terrific player. She's going to thrive. That's exactly what that team needed. Who's to say that the Gamecocks don't get right back to the national championship game? They very well could. But at the same time, these two things can happen simultaneously, where South Carolina thrives, but Fulwiley finds the situation that allows her to thrive, because I think that's better for basketball fans as a whole. And I don't want to say she was held back necessarily. Well, in a way, she was held back. She didn't have the playing time. She didn't play enough. And she was, being fit into what they were trying to do, that vision. And part of that's coaching. And maybe if she had stuck it out by the end, she'd be a better player. She'd be a better WNBA player. I don't know. But I'd rather see her on the court trying. So I think South Carolina is going to be fine. Fulwiley was already coming off the bench for them, so it's not like a devastating blow. But this seems like a boon for fans who are going to get to see her with the ball in her hands.